Hello, my name is Anjani Segrist, and today I'm going to be introducing basic chart analysis and using this chart. So I'm going to read this at a very basic level, but first I want to give a little description. So here is representing you, the moment you were born, and this is with your exact birth time, the date you were born, and the city you were born in. So here's you. And then this is a map of the sky the moment you were born. So you can see where everybody's sitting at the cosmic table, so to speak. So all of these little pieces represent a planet or a star or a location in the sky. And we sort of look at those as a metaphysical representation for a part of your psyche. So whether or not you believe in astrology, and that it's irrelevant, because I'm just using this as a way of getting you connected with deeper parts of yourself. And we start to ask questions to those parts. And when you touch different parts of yourself, in your psyche, psychically, we can say, it brings them alive and activates them. So you might not ever ask yourself, how do I communicate? But when we're looking at your chart, we're seeing, well, okay, well, here's Mercury right next to your south node and the sign of Libra. So, we can ask very informed questions to different parts of you, and then you get your own answers. So I really like for people to be able to come to their own conclusions about themselves. As much as I enjoy doing psychic readings and doing energy work, it's far more helpful for people to be able to do that work within themselves. So I have a book that I've created. It's a workbook called Creating Your Own Mythology, and it goes through a series of questions that, and a lot more than just questions. It's a lot of exercises and things to do to work on yourself so that you can heal parts of yourself, accept parts of yourself. A lot of evolution and expansion of consciousness really has to do with owning and accepting things that you may not like about yourself. So here we go. Here's you. Here is a map of the sky the moment you were born. And out here on the outer circle, so this is called a biwheel. I almost always use a biwheel when I'm reading somebody's personal astrology chart. The biwheel for this is today. So this is for May 1st. This is where everything is today. So you can see the sun close to her natal moon. There's certain cycles that we can see happening. I'm going to read a chart a little later that you can see that a girl is in her Pluto cycle. So giving some descriptions about what that means and how to work with that. So there's a few readings that I do. The most popular one is, I call it a four corners reading, and it basically is giving like a blueprint for you, for your life, and giving some ideas about your life purpose, your intentions for being here. The other really popular reading is synastry, which is a relationship reading. So putting two charts together and coming up with a sort of really beautiful, very workable map for how to engage with each other, how to increase the amount of love and acceptance for yourself, which automatically helps you to love and accept your partner more, and vice versa, and finding doorways of communication that can be opened, that maybe, you weren't seeing them, or the door was closed, or, whatever. So that synastry reading is really amazing. It's one of my favorite things to do. The reading I'm doing today is just covering the lineage and the current life intentions. So the lineage, we look to the moon to find out what this person is already a master of. The moon will tell us, if we can look at this like a story, the moon would be the tribe or the the school that the person had already graduated from. So we would say that this person has her PhD in the school of Taurus, or I like to talk about the lineage in the terms of tribes, because this is really your roots. Just by virtue of being born, you already mastered the skills of the moon. So the Taurus moon, this is a person who is naturally open to receiving. Uh, Open, this is like a sponge in a way. Because not always is the receivership, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to always be receiving good things. We would like that, of course, but just a sponge who is open to receiving. So if you put the sponge down on liquid gold, it soaks up the liquid gold. If you put the sponge down on spilt Kool-Aid or rotten milk, it absorbs that too. So Taurus moon, automatically healthy receivership, and being the one who is grounded, is sort of embodied, embodying the essence of her own humanity. So with the moon, we also combine the South Node's house position, and for her, she's got this in the second house. So we would call this the Taurus job in the Taurus tribe. Super Taurus. So this would be a little girl who was, you might call like the one who wins, or the one who gets things. The uncle maybe always would bring her his coins to you, giving you all the coins, or I'm just seeing pictures of this, like getting extra candy, or you know what I mean, like it was always really annoying to me to see the person who always got stuff, because that wasn't I was the one who was always giving things. So healthy receivership. This is the thing about this. We're in Taurus season right now, so the sun is in Taurus for this moon cycle, and I usually will go, sun cycle by sun cycle, like wherever the sun is for that month, I focus energy into the mystery school of what the sun is representing during that time. So right now is Taurus, and it is all about being open to receiving. And something that I got today was that that image of the sponge. So being open to receiving, when you just do that within yourself, like clear your space to open to receive, things will come, and you can really control what it's going to be. So with the South Node and the Moon both pointing to Taurus, really reminds me of the fact that it is good to receive, because there's that saying growing up that I always heard, which is, it's better to give than to receive. But for every giver, I have a Cancer moon, which naturally wants to give. For every giver, there needs to be at least one receiver, because if there's not a receiver, I'm not being able to fulfill my inner longing to give. So this might be a mystery that you already have mastered, that you already know this. Every once in a while, when somebody has Taurus as their predominant archetype for the lineage, sometimes when they have Leo or Scorpio as the predominant archetype for the lineage, because these are self-interest signs, sometimes the person has been cut off from the lineage and was shamed, or you may have been told over and over, it's better to give than to receive. And so your little essence, your energy wanted to be open to receive, but if you were shut down in that, I never really give the readings this way. It just came up in a class that I did where the lady was like, "No, I didn't." I think she had Leo. She had Leo Moon. So it's really apparent that if those things weren't honored, that you might feel separated from your lineage. In that case, you would do some sort of a shamanic journey, or take a year where you do work focusing on your lineage, bringing it back, feeding that archetype, where you just constantly are reminding yourself to be open to receiving. Then on the other side, if it already was something that you got it, people were showering you, not showering you, but you were open to receive. You mastered the lineage um, archetype of that lineage. Then the next thing we go to is what you're learning about now, what you're here to learn about now. So we never forget the lineage. We always honor and bow to our lineage, our roots. This is our, you've already graduated from this school, say the Epicurean school. You're a master of Epicurism. Then you're still gonna want to learn more. You want to go on. And in astrology, we look at the rising sign and we look at the North Node's house position. So for you, we would call this the Scorpio job in the Virgo tribe, because your rising sign is in Virgo with the specialty of Scorpio. So the rising sign. There's so many different, the way my teacher, I heard him call it this week, branches on the tree of astrology. The way that I have heard the rising sign throughout the years, back in high school, they were relating to it like a house, and the rising sign being the door to the house, the living room, or whatever. The way we're looking at it, or the way I'm using it now, is that it's what you're rising into, the way that you're learning to hold your energy, and something that you're here to master in this lifetime. Virgo, as a rising, is learning how to be the priestess, learning how to live every bit of your life as sacred. Something that dawned on me this week also was, this is kind of irrelevant, but it came in, so I'm going to say it. The regular life and spiritual life. And for me, there is no separation in regular life and spiritual life. It's like my existence is a spiritual life. For somebody with Virgo rising, it's the same way. It's like there is no separation. I just saw a post that all your posts are like totally like this. This is one reason why I wanted to read your chart. So Virgo rising wants to make it sacred. Wants everything to be sacred, following the rhythms and the timings of life, and bringing through the mysteries of the priestess. Virgo rising for a woman is, it may be challenging, because there is really not a place in our current society for this much of a spiritual energy or of a sacred energy. It's something that I struggle with a lot. My life, regular life, and spiritual life, and I'm saying that they are one thing, but it's kind of like hidden. You know what I mean? And the reason is because I feel like there isn't very much of a place for the priestess. So my priestess work I do here in my space. I have like 3 altars set up in my house, all for different things. And so taking that out is your, I don't want to call it a life purpose, but it is your edge, your growth edge. That's Virgo rising. So with the eighth house as your specialty, we call this a Scorpio job because within that tribe of priests and priestess, your specialty is mastering energy. Scorpio is all about mastering energy and sourcing energy from source. So this is the shaman, the mystic. So it's really like that's what you're here to be doing. The North Node, in many forms of astrology, they call it a destiny point or a life purpose or where you're headed to, whereas the South Node is where you're coming from, what you've already mastered. I call this a evolutionary, sometimes I call it revolutionary axis from the South to the North Node. So from full luxury, pleasure of the physical body, being completely comfortable and pampered, to mastering energy, feeling maximum intensity, life force energy just pulsing through your physical body, and learning how to capture that in a way and put it into things, into places. This might be somebody who is a Reiki master or some sort of energy healer, or doing ceremonies for large groups of people, because that's the priestess work. If you haven't done a priestess training, that might be something really, really good. And I can tell you where I did my priestess training, although I'm not sure if she's still doing those anymore. There's a lot of them. You have to kind of be really selective because spirituality, as you are probably well aware of, has become for sale. And it's disgusting to me, but it's what's happening because people are so hungry for it. And a lot of people know a little bit, and a lot of people know marketing. So they sort of feed off of people's vulnerabilities. And anyway, the priestess training of some sort would be really awesome for you here. So there's a lot more, obviously, to read on this chart, but I'm going to go ahead and stop there. So that is what I would call a mini astrology reading. So thank you so much for watching the video. Please leave any comments. Thank you so much for letting me read your chart and post it publicly. The name is cut off, so nobody knows the name. Thank you. I really enjoyed reading your chart, and I look forward to connecting with you soon.